What's going on, YouTube? This is Dave's Daily Trades, where I bring you daily AMC technical analysis, price predictions, and of course, the latest and greatest news. In today's episode, we're going to be going over exactly why we are still right on track and everything is going exactly as planned, even though we had a slight negative day. I'm also going to be breaking down the options flow with unusual whales and going over the large derivatives plays that were going on in the market for AMC. And then lastly, I do want to touch upon the misinformation going on over Adam Aron's share purchase that just about everyone's been talking about. But without further ado, we're going to roll right into the intro and then hop into a quick technical analysis. And we're back. All right, guys. So for AMC today, we did close down negative 1.84%. And then after hours, sitting down minus 0.22%, which is absolutely nothing. Good things, though. Couple of great things that happened today. Well, we closed over $40. That is wonderful to see. And then the second thing I do want to discuss is this double bottom here at the $39.20 level. So, of course, we always get those volatile movements right in the morning, just about first thing in the morning, the first 20 minutes or so of trading activity. We did come down to the low of right around 39.20. One wick actually went a little lower, but is totally fine. The other thing is, well, look at, we had a higher low today. Yesterday's low was just about at 38.88. My eyes can't see with all of these boxes and colorful items on the chart, so apologies for that. And today, we're a little higher than yesterday, so of course, this is the stair-stepping. But after we did have this slight pullback, we ran back up, couldn't reach the high of the morning, so then did tend to trend down. Now, it was great because just about 45 minutes into closing bell, we double bottomed right at that 39.20, which we previously developed earlier in the trading day, bounced off this line, and actually had decent price action going to close. That's really great stuff. Now, of course, one thing I have been discussing on this channel, or at least trying to keep track of, is the consolidation ranges. So, of course, yesterday we had very brief consolidation right around that $40 mark. Now, today, as the consolidation was a little lower, it was right around that 39.60, 39.70 level. The consolidation was for a much longer time. Now, of course, over the past couple trading sessions and even the past couple of weeks, we have been trending in the right direction. And of course, it might not seem like a lot for AMC, moving from $32 all the way up to $40 in the matter of a week's time. Well, guys, that is great, solid moves. So, of course, consolidating at these areas around 40 is totally fine in my playbook. And, of course, actually makes me very happy and shows that AMC is very confident trading at these levels. Now, of course, before we jump into the multi-charts here, I do want to just take a look at the 1 hour chart. So, really what I've been tracking is this trend line that first started on 1029 with this very big green candle. Since then, we have really been respecting this trend line almost to a T. Of course, we do have some small wicks that fall out of it, but for the most part, we have been right on track throughout this. Now, of course, if we remove, I wish there was a way to literally just remove this, but if we could remove this, we are literally trending perfectly right now. And of course, this, I guess you could call it a slight 2-day pullback. All it did was bring us closer to this trend line. But if we look in the past, what happens when we hit these trend lines? Well, as you can see, we bounce right off them. And it acts as a very strong resistance level and causes a lot of buying at these ranges. And what we see is small little pops. We move up, and then we consolidate back towards this trend line right here. Now, of course, today was a perfect example. This second bounce that we had, that double bottom that we're talking about at that 39.20 level, literally was the perfect bounce off this upward resistance line and moved us up for a decent run here into close, which is totally fine. Now, of course, looking down at the technicals, RSI is currently sitting at 49.50. very close to that 50 level, which of course over 50 or at 50 is bullish, below 50 is a little bearish. And of course, we are a little bearish right now, moving closer to this trend line, but this last pop that we saw today should continue in tomorrow and still continue to trend upward into this $40 range and hoping for a $40 close tomorrow at least, guys. And of course, Friday typically means low volume, low action, but of course, we'll see what happens, guys, because every day is a different day with AMC. Now, looking down here at the MACD, of course, that after hours move really threw up this MACD on the 1 hour chart. But this consolidation and moving down towards this trend line was absolutely perfect. Gave the technicals a little bit of room to breathe here. And it looks like we are going to see that crossover on the 1 hour for the MACD sometime into either tomorrow or on Monday. And that is really fantastic. Now, the biggest things here is we do have resistance right around that 41.78 area, which has acted for, quite some time. So breaking through that is step one on my personal to-do list for AMC. But once we do break over that, the next thing is taking a crack at this flagged pennant here. Right around here is going to be just about the $44, $45 range. And if we can break that, the next thing I see us going to is right about $48. And this $48 region, I don't believe is going to be that strong because once we do break this, I currently see us going upwards of $52 and then coming down and making $48 range, that level of support, getting comfortable, consolidating for a little bit, and then starting those massive candles that we saw in early June. So that's exactly what I'm thinking for AMC. But I just want to show you guys because I know a lot of people were upset and really had high hopes for today. A lot of bullish sentiment in the AMC community. But I want to just always draw back to where I personally think we are in this trend line before that massive run-up. And this takes us back all the way to just about early May. May 6th all the way to May 12th. And that's exactly what's going on right now, as you guys can see. And that's why I wish we could remove this after hours price action that we saw over here, because that would literally almost look like it as a T. Now, what happens here, guys? And we've talked about this a few times. We do have these spikes, a little bit of a pullback, consolidate into or close to that trend line that we have here, and then move up. And this continues over time. Now, what happened recently was we went crazy after hours for God knows what, okay? All this is just the consolidation and the slight decline to get us closer back to this trend line before we start those moves again. And that's exactly what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking we are going to have just about 1 or 2 more days focusing on this trend line. But the biggest thing is once we do get somewhere around this $41 area, that's when we have the breakout. And that's when we start heading all the way to just about $48, $52, that range. And that's where things really start to get interesting. However, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves here because we're not there yet. We're still in the 40s, still making moves. So, of course, we're going to keep it basic today and, of course, see what happens on Friday and early next week. So great things are happening here, guys. But one thing I do want to jump into is the options data for AMC today. Of course, all in all, things were looking really good. So, guys, I did just discuss yesterday or announce yesterday that I have officially partnered with Unusual Whales, which is the tool that is on the screen right now. This is one of my all-time favorite options platform that you could ever use because it's just so user-friendly. And really, the options chain really moves the market. And it's really crazy to see bearish flow come in, and that's exactly what happens to the stock. So guys, if you are interested in using this, I'm going to be coming out with some tutorials. Also use my affiliate marketing code, which is just Dave, all lowercase. I would really appreciate that. But let's just jump right into this. So really a lot, as you guys can see for the expirations, a lot of calls were coming in today for the 6/17/22 expiration, actually right around my birthday. But anyways, a lot of calls were actually coming in today, which we haven't seen for AMC quite as much. Really, as if you guys have been on the channel, a lot of puts were being sold, which is really good, but we're waiting for the turnaround for whales to jump into those bullish call options, and that's what we're starting to see today. Early in the morning, the flow was mixed. It was a little bit bearish coming in, which is why we did have a slight dip just about in the mid-morning, mid-afternoon of today. But it's starting to turn around here, and what I have it set to is premium range over $100,000 because we want to see those big whales, what they're buying up. So, of course, I would say it's about 60-40 with the calls, and we'll jump into the exact numbers here in a second. But the biggest thing is the calls were printing. There were a few puts that were purchased, but nothing too massive, guys. So I'm just going to jump into the all-in-all historical flow for AMC here. As we can see, calls are outweighing the puts. I was close, 65% to 35%. Calls being 65, puts being 35. That is great. Total open interest, we have 2.2 million call or derivative options here. We have 1.3 million calls and 903,000 puts. And one thing that I haven't really covered, but I want to start covering every single video, is the biggest option trades for the day. So, of course, guys, it's going to come down to these two right here. These two puts were being sold, both for the expirations for 1/19/24 and 1/20/23. So some very long expirations on these. But, of course, look at the premiums here. 673,000, 638,000, which, of course, selling a put, super bullish, guys, because that means they're out of that position. They want nothing to do with it, and they don't believe that AMC is going any lower. Now, of course, we have just about a dozen options here, and only 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are on the bearish side. Everything else is bullish, guys. So, and guys, with that said, that's everything that I have for today's video. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and I'll be back tomorrow. Peace out.